Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
We still have some lingering showers this morning from our tropical system, but the rain isn't as heavy. I'll show you who will be affected during the morning commute.
We have the WRAL Storm Tracker out on the roads this morning, giving us a real-time look at the wet conditions in the Triangle. This is a live look at I-40 East near Gorman Street in Raleigh. What you can expect when you leave your house this morning.
And boys, there's a lot to clean up after the heavy rain and strong winds from that storm. Downed trees around the Triangle and washed out roads in our coastal communities. We'll show you the damage left behind this morning.
And today, Wake school leaders will consider how they respond to school threats. The closer look coming after an evacuation at a school left students standing in the hot sun. That was back in August, and while we don't miss the heat, we certainly would like to see the sun at some point, right? It's just been raining all day and all night last night, and we're getting tired of the rain. It's still here. I'm Renee Chu.
I'm Jeff Hogan. Thanks for making us part of your routine here. And as folks get ready to go with some of those schools, you mentioned having a problem getting started on time today. So lots of folks affected by this. We'll tell you which schools are on delay to get started. Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center, because this hasn't just quite cleared out yet.
Not quite. It's definitely lighter than it was. We still have a lot of water on the roads and some rain falling around the Triangle area. The flood watch is over. We don't have a level 1 risk, so all of the advisories that we had posted for yesterday have all expired, which is definitely good news. But we're certainly seeing some showers, again, around the Triangle from Raleigh to Clayton to Wendell over to Pittsboro, Chapel Hill, and Durham. It's a little bit heavier up to the north, moving northward into Virginia, and from Henderson northward, some showers over around Roanoke Rapids. But it's definitely beginning to break up a little bit. We take a live look at Apex, though, and you can definitely see how much water there is out there right now. We saw about 2 inches in Raleigh officially. We saw almost 4 inches in Fayetteville, around 3 in Clinton. Lesser amounts up near the Virginia line, but there'll be some of that added today. It's a little breezy stepping out the door. Our winds are coming out of the east. We're gusting to around 23 in the Triangle area right now, and we'll continue to see some scattered showers this morning during the morning commute all around the Triangle. There's lunchtime. Once we get to 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, most of that rain is to our north, and there might be a few holes in the clouds late this afternoon. A little bit of sunshine peeking through. You guys were asking for that. We might see some of that late today. Our rain chances by mid-morning are down to 40% and then 30 this afternoon. We don't take it down to 0 because we do have the chance of an isolated thunderstorm popping up. It'll be pleasant in terms of temperatures this afternoon in the upper 70s. With all this rain, how are we looking? Are we looking at a record for the year? We'll take a look at that coming up, Ken.
All right, at 6:01 is happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We have a crash reported on I-40. That's where we find the WRAL Storm Tracker out on the roadways this morning. Laura Levine just arrived on that scene to give us a closer look at exactly what you're seeing right now on I-40 East near that Gorman Street crash. Laura.
Hey, Ken. So, yes, we just passed the crash on the westbound side. We're going east. I want to give you a look at what we're looking at. Even on the eastbound lanes, you can see that we're in traffic. I mean, literally just brake tapping here, slow moving traffic. But passing that crash, we did see some lane closures, several emergency crews on the scene. But it looks like we have another crash just ahead of us on the eastbound side. So again, traffic moving at a slow and steady pace. As far as the rain goes here in Raleigh, just light showers, really more of a sprinkle is what we're experiencing. However, the roads are wet. They're slick. So if you are heading out this morning, you want to be mindful of that. You want to make sure that you take your time, give you enough time heading out so that you can make it to your destination safely without having to rush. Because when we have the slick roads, this is when we see the accidents pop up. Once we get closer to the problem area, we'll give you an update on what we're seeing here, Ken. For now, I'll send it back to you.
Some very good advice, Laura. We appreciate that. We're following a major development on I-95 northbound. The northbound lanes of I-95 near Hodges Chapel Road shut down right now. You can see purple on the map, and the delay it's causing. You're highly recommended to take exit 77, which is Hodges Chapel Road. Work your way over to 301 to avoid the slowdown. I'll keep watching that for you. Laura just told us about the couple of incidents on I-40 this morning. That's the I-40 westbound near Gorman Street crash that Laura just mentioned. And a little farther up the street, there's a crash also near Lake Wheeler Road. And for those of you heading in the westbound lane, you're looking at an almost 20-minute delay this morning heading in those westbound lanes, so keep that in mind. Of course, you're getting ready to head out. Listen to us on the radio at 101.5 HD3.
Ken, thanks. It's not just the rain out there, but also downed trees and storm debris are an issue in the Triangle this morning. Crews worked through the night to clear this tree that fell and blocked a street in Raleigh. Video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker shows the work happening just before 2 this morning on Whitman Road. That's near Ridge Road and Glen Eden Drive. Duke Energy's power outage map showed about 50 homes in that area without power. Power has since been restored. Many school systems in the area are on 2-hour delays today as a precaution. Harnett, Moore, Hoke, Cumberland, Sampson, Lee, and Wayne County schools are all opening 2 hours late this morning.
Time is 6:04 here in the WRAL Live Center. Good morning. I'm Chris Lovingood, showing you some of the different cameras to see how they're being affected in other parts of our state regarding that storm system. This is actually a look at Seaview Fishing Pier in North Topsail Beach, and you'll see there's a guy right there clearly fishing right now, and the camera's kind of moving around a little bit, and maybe we can see the waves crash a little bit. Not so much from this angle, but it just kind of shows you how people are kind of taking advantage of the situation in terms of the weather. I do want to show you one other camera here. This is in Beaufort, North Carolina, and I show you this one because this morning we've been seeing a bit of a light show, lightning in the background. It's so dark you can see it clearly, but it looks like it got a little shy as we came here to the WRAL Live Center. That's okay. Maybe we can get it later. I do want to show you one last thing, though, outages. That's something we've been watching very carefully this morning. In Raleigh, nothing too wild, just shy of about 300 outages there. And as we move slightly over to the west, we'll see in Pittsboro, there's actually been an improvement. Whereas about 30 minutes ago, we were talking about 800 people, we're down to 750, which is an improvement. But when I looked at Dominion Energy's outage map, because this is the Duke Energy outage map, nothing too wild, just shy of 300, at least in the northeastern part of our state. We'll keep looking to see if those situations improve here in the WRAL Live Center.
Folks down near the coast are looking forward to a quieter day today after some areas saw more than 18 inches of rain. WRAL's Brett Neese joins us live from Carolina Beach. That was one of those places, Brett, historic weather event that left behind flooded roads and homes.
Yeah, Jeff, we made it down here to one of the main drags here through town, and you can see there's so much water here behind me still on the roads. It was a lot worse yesterday. A lot of it has gone down, but you can see with the reflection of the lights and everything like that, this road here is pretty bad. This is right here at Cape Fear Drive and Lake Park Boulevard, right here through the middle of Carolina Beach. And you can just see that that water came up really quickly, and it's lingering here today. But we do have some video from yesterday to show you just what this 18 inches plus of rain looked like here in this area, flooding homes, flooding cars, causing schools to be let out early. In fact, Carolina Beach Elementary had to have a number of kids driven home by emergency crews in a car that could handle this high flood water. So just incredible, the amount of water that fell here in Carolina Beach so fast and the water rising so quickly. And we talked to some of the residents here in this area about what it was like to go through it.
I was at work, my wife was here, and neighbors were very kind to come and help her and just try and get as much off the floor as we could.
Yeah, and that resident in particular tells us that they've had that home since Hurricane Florence hit this area, and he said that it felt like there was more rain and more flooding than Florence happened. So, you know, just incredible, the different pockets here throughout Carolina Beach and some of the damage that's left behind. As the sun comes up here the rest of the morning, we'll be able to see some of that damage. Of course, right now what we see is this flooded roadway. A number of these roads still blocked off here this morning. We'll continue to check in with you here throughout the rest of the morning. Live in Carolina Beach, Brett Neese, WRAL News.
A lot of folks at home when it hit couldn't get out, and if they were away at work, couldn't get back home because of all that wet weather. You can always find live weather updates on the free WRAL News app. It allows you to watch radar in real time to see when the storms are in your area. Be sure you have the WRAL News app installed with the alerts turned on.
Today, school leaders in Wake County are assessing how they react to school threats. This comes 3 weeks after a bomb threat at Heritage High School that forced an evacuation, leading to kids getting sick standing out there in the hot sun. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live at Heritage High School this morning. And Kelsey, the school board is going to analyze the timeline of what happened on that day in August.
Renee, they sure will, and they're also going to be addressing some other safety topics today. And we first told you about that bomb threat that happened here at Heritage High a few weeks ago. Today, school leaders will analyze how they handled that situation. We'll show you some video now of students evacuating after that threat. The evacuation forced some students to wait outside for more than 2 hours in the sweltering heat. Temperatures were in the upper 90s that day. At least a dozen students received medical attention. 2 students and 1 adult were sent to the hospital for heat-related illnesses. This afternoon, school leaders will go through some feedback from emergency response teams about what happened. School officials will also get an update today about their new clear bag policy. We first told you about that in March, whenever that was implemented. We'll be sure to stay on top of this and let you know what comes out of this. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Wake County.
Today, Raleigh City Council members will vote on a plan to move Red Hat Amphitheater in downtown Raleigh. The plan is to move the amphitheater 1 block south to make room for an expansion of the Raleigh Convention Center. Over the last few weeks, the city has hosted open houses for people who live in that area. Some people are worried permanently closing South Street between McDowell and Dawson will hurt affordable housing and choke off accessibility to downtown. But others say if closing down South Street is what makes it worth it, it'll keep the amphitheater downtown, and they'll be happy with that.
Target is getting a jump start on the holiday shopping rush. How many seasonal employees the company is looking to hire starting next week?
And more than a year after the OceanGate submersible imploded, killing 5 people on board, a hearing is underway to determine what went wrong, and it is revealing multiple problems before the disaster. We'll walk you through them. And Elizabeth Gardner tracking another rainy start to our day.
Yeah, around the Triangle area northward is where we're seeing the rain this morning. So if you're from, say, Raleigh northward up toward Virginia, you're going to run into some rain during your morning commute. But I'll show you when it will finally move out.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
6:13, and we're still dealing with some rain. It's pretty light this morning. Some patchy showers around the Triangle area. Really, everybody north of Raleigh is seeing some light patchy rain at this point. There was some thunder and lightning this morning, but this is beginning to ease up a little bit. Still, out on the roads, it's pretty messy. Ken's coming up to show us where we got some slow traffic out there to deal with already. This morning, we'll have about a 40% chance of rain, and it does remain at 30%, mainly from the Triangle area northward, where we see this lingering boundary just gradually shifting northward on up into Virginia. So we're not going to completely clear out unless you're down in some of the southern counties. Durham 73, Raleigh 73, 67 in Fayetteville. Fayetteville is dry right now, but we're definitely still seeing some showers around the Triangle. I'll show you why we have more rain in our forecast later this week, Ken.
Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Storm Tracker. You see it's right on the roadway this morning. I wanted to let you know exactly where the storm track was, too. In this mess, it's happening on I-40. A couple of incidents, I-40 westbound on Gorman Street. You're looking at least a 25-minute to 30-minute delay heading on those westbound lanes. On the eastbound side, there's a serious crash on I-40 eastbound near Lake Wheeler Road, also causing some delays this morning. I'm going to keep an eye on that and let you know exactly what's going on in terms of your morning commute. Elsewhere around the Triangle and surrounding communities, delay-free at this hour. And, of course, Renee will have another update in about 10 minutes.
Ken, thanks. Some sad news to tell you about. A Fort Liberty paratrooper has died from injuries he suffered during a training exercise. The 82nd Airborne Division announced the death of Private First Class Matthew Perez. He was assigned to the division's 3rd Brigade Combat Team. Perez died during training at the Joint Readiness Training Center in Louisiana on Friday.
Not even October yet, but retailers are already thinking about holiday shopping and the rush that is bound to happen with that. Target says it is hiring 100,000 seasonal workers this holiday season. You could submit your application starting next Wednesday.
Nearly 15 months after the Titan submersible imploded, killing 5 people, we are seeing the first image of the wreckage. It was revealed at a hearing yesterday. WRAL's Michelle McConaughey is here now to walk us through some key moments from that hearing. Michelle.
Yeah, it was pretty shocking. And this is the first picture that we are seeing this morning of that submersible on the floor of the Atlantic Ocean. A U.S. Coast Guard investigating board is trying to determine who is responsible for this June 2023 disaster. The company that designed the submersible, OceanGate, faces mounting scrutiny. Several issues were brought to light yesterday, yesterday, including that the submersible was left exposed to the elements while in storage, and the hull was never reviewed by any third parties, which is standard practice. The Titan was also struck by lightning during a test mission in 2018, and that might have compromised the hull. It was supposed to take 5 people to explore the Titanic wreckage site, but the crew never made it. The Titan was pinged for the last time about 90 minutes into that dive. Days later, authorities found its wreckage resting on the floor of the Atlantic Ocean. Former OceanGate contractor Tim Catterson testified that he raised concerns to CEO Stockton Rush.
I told him I think that it's underbuilt. I can't make the numbers work.
The hearing is in South Carolina. It's expected to take place over 9 days. The Marine Board of Investigation says if there is any detection of a criminal act, it would make a recommendation to the Justice Department.
Wake County libraries have launched free online tutoring services with tutor.com. All Wake County library card holders can participate. It offers students, parents, and adults access to personalized help in a wide range of subjects. The most popular subjects are also offered in Spanish. You can access this on the public library's website.
A scary situation for a couple trying to get home from Myrtle Beach as they were caught in a flash flood. Take a look at these images taken from their car on Highway 17 where they got stuck. Tiffany Fregoso says a sheriff was driving along in an airboat to get people out of their vehicles and onto drier land. Fregoso says she was caught off guard by the speed and intensity of the water. We saw the speed and intensity of the water rising along our Carolina coastal communities, including Carolina Beach, that got 18 inches of rain. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Severe impacts from this storm that didn't even get a name.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. The reason it didn't get a name is because it never had a closed circulation, and that is one of the qualifications to be a tropical system. But, you know, as we talked about a couple of days ago, it wasn't going to matter whether it was truly a tropical system or not. It had a lot of tropical moisture, and boy, we had just one rain band that just sat over Carolina Beach for hours yesterday, dumping all of that heavy rain. So the center of circulation, that low, is down into South Carolina, still spreading some rain up into our area, especially from Raleigh to Durham, really right along all those busily traveled areas. As a matter of fact, it's pretty messy on I-40 right now. Kent's coming up in a few minutes to show you how to get around some of those slowdowns that have already started this morning. Some scattered showers in Durham as well as Clayton. We'll head up to the north, a little more widespread from Henderson on up towards South Hill and Clarksville. A few light showers there in Roxborough this morning. Futurecast shows the rain in our northern counties here at lunchtime, but starting to pull out of the triangle. Once we get closer to 5 o'clock, it's mainly up toward Virginia. And at that point, we might actually see a little sunshine breaking through down to the south. If you're in our southern counties, say Southern Pines, Fayetteville, Clinton, Goldsboro, you're not likely to see much rain at all today, except maybe an isolated storm that would pop up. But really all the action is going to be in the northern part of our viewing area as we get through the afternoon. So this morning, we do have some scattered light rain that's causing some pretty big problems on the roads. At lunchtime, most of the rain and storms will be north of Wake County, and then into the evening, most of that is up near the Virginia line, and we're starting to dry out elsewhere. Some of those rainfall totals, almost 4 inches in Fayetteville, about 3 in Clinton. Officially in Raleigh, it was about 2 inches, almost 3 inches in Southern Pines. Some lighter amounts near the Virginia line, but we're going to see some of that adding up during the day today, and that's where we do have a small risk for flooding, that green shaded area. Here's a look at downtown Raleigh, looking past the legislative building. It's messy out there with some continued showers. At this point, we don't have anything else out there in the Atlantic, which is great news, and only a 20% chance of development really in the next 2 weeks. So it's been pretty quiet here for the peak of the season, except, you know, Carolina Beach. That was just a crazy situation. The low pressure system that we've been dealing with the last 24 hours will linger in the area through Friday with a daily chance of afternoon and evening storms, and some of those could produce some real heavy rain. Gradually, as we get through the week, that's going to slide back out into the Atlantic, opening the door for a nice dry weekend and first day of fall. Looking good, but 40% today, tomorrow, and Thursday. And then again, getting into the weekend, we're looking at some much drier conditions, looking pretty nice for us. All total for the next few days, we'll see anywhere from about a half an inch to an inch of rain or so. And we are the third wettest at RDU. So far this year, almost 43 inches. Looking at the first day of fall, though, breezy and cooler, 76 degrees, looking good. And that should continue into early next week. Coming up, we're going to talk more about some of that heavy rainfall that we saw along the coast. And of course, this morning, Ken, I-40 looks like a mess, even with this light rain.
It's an absolute mess. And let's take a closer look at that, if you will. The real trouble spot for us this morning, because of a couple of crashes you're seeing right here. This is I-40 westbound near Gorman Street this morning. You're looking at maybe a 15-minute delay if you're heading the westbound lanes. Another serious crash on I-40 eastbound near Lake Wheeler. That's a minor crash this morning, not really causing any problems for you this morning. It's in the clearing phase. Laura Levine is in the WRAL storm tracker this morning. She's actually trying to make her way toward that I-40 westbound, that crash I just mentioned. As soon as she gets there, we'll have an update at the bottom of the hour. But you can see the windshield wipers are going this morning. Make sure you look for those ponding on the road and watch your speed limit. I would encourage you to leave the house a little sooner than usual just to be on the safe side. A couple more things I want to tell you about. A serious crash on Capitol Boulevard near Hodges Road, not causing any problems. Just look for some police activity there. This is another serious crash on Tarboro Road near Newbern Avenue, not far from St. Aug. Again, not really causing any problems in that area. But if you're getting ready to head out, just know that you can listen to us anywhere in the Triangle at 101.5 HD3.
Ken, thanks for that. We are getting some more information about how Ryan Ruth was captured after an apparent assassination attempt on former President Trump. The body cam footage showing the moment he was arrested.
Plus, bridges damaged, roads were washed out along the North Carolina coast. The major repairs one of Southport's main roads will need.
This What's Trending report, sponsored by Rug & Home.
One of Miley Cyrus's biggest hit songs is now the subject of a lawsuit claiming copyright infringement.
Ken Smith here now with What's Trending. Ken?
Yeah, Renee and Jeff, the suit is over her Grammy-winning song, Flowers. A group that owns part of the copyright for the Bruno Mars song, When I Was Your Man, says Cyrus stole from that song. Bruno Mars himself is not part of the lawsuit, though.
All right, Bruno, I should have bought you flowers and held your hand.
Right, okay, so we all know that chorus, right? And then Miley's like, I can buy myself flowers. Okay, so it's a cute, twist in response to Bruno Mars' song. I mean, it's not really stealing, is it? It's just kind of like inspiration. It's not even the same melody.
It gets touchy. I don't know. It gets touchy.
Inspiration.
It was a brilliant take on, the Bruno Mars song.
We'll go with that.
I crushed it.
You did.
REO Speedwagon played in Raleigh recently, and that could be the end of the band touring. The band now announcing it will stop touring at the end of the year. The band says its lead singer and bassist just can't get along anymore.
I was there at Walnut Creek. I didn't sense any discord.
Any tension?
I mean, it wasn't like Jane's Addiction where they're just brawling on stage. It didn't come to that point. But I believe it's time for them to fly.
It's a legendary rock band.
Off they go.
Ken, thanks. Well, there's no need to take the red pill. The Matrix is back in theaters this week. The cyberpunk sci-fi classic is returning to theaters Thursday and Sunday for its 25th anniversary. This was when I became a big fan of Keanu Reeves. Mm-hmm. It's showing at several theaters here in the Triangle.
And of course, we still have showers out there that we're dealing with this morning. Of course, we saw a lot of heavy rain yesterday, as much as 2 to 5 inches. We still have more to go today. I'll show you how much more you could see where you are.